Hello and welcome to Between the Pillars. Today I'm going to talk about the corporeal intelligence, which is made visible by the moon, the 18th tarot card. Artificial evolution has verifiable phases and milestones. The pool, the stones, the plants, the shellfish, the wolf and dog, the gate between the towers and the violet mountain symbolize these milestones. The pool stands for the universal energy substance of which physical matter or chemicals are made of. The stones that border the pool signify the mentioned chemicals. Organic beings and inorganic things are made of the same chemicals. Plants evolve from stone, so to say. The row of leaves behind the stones symbolize the evolutionary step from stone to organisms. The shellfish represents cellular consciousness. Its position encompasses the pool, stone and plant level. This indicates that everything has consciousness, even inanimate matter. Or, in other words, everything is made of consciousness. The cell's rudimentary consciousness is caught, that's the meaning of the shell, in the illusion that they are isolated beings and more or less permanently in danger. Our bodies are made of trillions of cells and our rudimentary ego is still subject to the illusion of separation, which is the root cause of fear, aggression and compulsive competitiveness. We can release our body and rudimentary ego from the sense of separation with enlightened practices. The next level of evolution are self-aware animals, represented by the wolf and dog, the latter a product of human adaptation. As a pair, the two symbolize nature and art. Despite having a superior body compared to animals, people still get stuck on this level. They have a dog-wolf state of mind, beautifully described in the story of the white and black wolf. Artificial evolution takes us beyond the dog and wolf state, but is still based on this dualistic principle. Artificial evolution is a balancing act between nature and human art. It adapts the natural processes of the corporeal intelligence and unlocks hidden functions in the DNA. The yellow path symbolizes success and advancement in artificial evolution. It proceeds through alternating barren fields and meadows. These fields symbolize human knowledge and experiences. Artificial evolution is slow and its process is subconscious. We only notice the results. The results are represented by the hills and valleys. The hills and valleys represent alternating states of effort and relaxation, outward accomplishment and inner assimilation. Conscious effort followed by periods of relaxation and sleep. The path rises and falls because in life we progress and regress. We have our ups and downs, but overall we progress. We know that we progressed when we realize that our most depressed states are at a higher level than the highest of past states of exaltation. The two towers form a major milestone on the path of enlightenment. They form an open gate to a new realm of experiences. Beyond the gate lie other realities and higher aspects of ourself, for example, the soul and the higher self. We reach those regions during the dreamless non-REM sleep, during meditation or under the influence of psychedelics. The tower's battlements represent the attitude of the rudimentary ego, the sense of separation and the shellfish-like ego which we have to leave behind in order to advance further. The area behind the towers is uncharted land. The land is also barren. This barrenness symbolizes that we need to take evolution beyond nature and we cannot rely on nature anymore. Also, experiences can't help us anymore. The land beyond the towers is the land of OBEs, astral projections, mystical experiences and initiations by the inner teacher. Since the land beyond the towers covers astral realms, it's treacherous land. We should not enter it before we establish a firm connection with the higher self, to enjoy its guidance and protection. That is the reason why the moon has a face. It shows the countenance of the higher self. Enlightenment practice allows the higher self to manage the corporeal intelligence directly. The violet mountain symbolizes illumination and the stages of enlightenment that come after. Kabbalistically, it symbolizes Briatic realms. Once we reach the violet mountain, we are safe, once and for all, and whatever progress we make there can never be lost. The artificial evolution of Homo sapiens is nothing new. People have sought enlightenment since the emergence of Homo sapiens. For the past 200,000 years, humans evolved their minds, and their evolved minds evolved their bodies and unlocked hidden functions of the corporeal intelligence, or DNA. In Tarot card 18, the moon and the yellow-red rain symbolize the unlocking of hidden corporeal functions. The root of the Hebrew word corporeal means literally to rain upon. The secret agent of evolution is the power of suggestion. Our self-consciousness dominates the mind with the power of suggestion. The mind, here symbolized by the moon, relays those suggestions to the corporeal intelligence which, through Kof, rebuilds the body. The body responds to every thought, emotion, feeling, and imagination. The power of the mind over the body is proven the world over. Just think of placebos. We don't need to acquire the power of suggestion. We are born with this power and, in fact, use it every day. But we use it subconsciously, hence uncontrolled. The power of suggestion is neutral, and we can use it for good and bad. If we use the evolutionary ability constructively, the corporeal intelligence builds a healthy body, expands its lifespan, and evolves it. If we apply it destructively, the body sickens, its lifespan reduces, and its consciousness may regress into anxiety or depression. So, depending on the quality of suggestions, the rain can be toxic or benevolent. Enlightened suggestions turn the poison into the so-called elixir. What is the elixir? The number of raindrops gives us a clue. The rain is made of 18 drops. 18 is the value of the Hebrew noun chai, which means life. Life and consciousness are inseparable. Where there is life, there is consciousness, and where there is no consciousness, there is no life. The essence of life and consciousness is spirit, or life power. The colors of the raindrops indicate this. The yellow body represents awareness or consciousness, and the red part represents spirit, the life inside the consciousness. Together they form intelligent consciousness. The elixir is a bodily form of spirit. You need to collect and preserve bodily spirit, or chi, to accelerate your artificial evolution. It is our task to refine our physical bodies, to purify them from the effects of negative thinking and emoting, and to effect subtle changes in their structure that unlocks latent capabilities of its DNA. These changes are chemical changes, in particular alterations on blood chemistry and alterations of certain organs, in particular the pineal gland. The secrets of these chemical alterations are encoded in alchemical mysteries. Proper breathing can establish conscious control over cellular consciousness. Think of your cells as tiny animals who have their own tiny consciousness. They are intelligent and they respond readily to firm but kind commands. In particular, they respond to love. You can use the following breathing exercise to raise the spirit of your cellular consciousness. Breathe in spirit and imagine your cells being inundated or flooded with spirit. This raises the health and consciousness of yourself. Next, send a message of appreciation and gratitude to your body's cells. Thank them for their loyalty and dedicated labor. Next, inundate your cells with love. The 29th path connects Malkuth, the brain, with Netzach, the sphere of desires, where the creative powers of personal consciousness reside. Netzach is outside the context of traditional psychology, which doesn't go beyond the mind and the self-aware ego. Enlightenment, on the other hand, differentiates three minds: the yesodic mind, which is the medium of memories, thoughts, emotions, feelings, desires and images. Then the cognitive mind, which is on the other side of the tree of life, Hod, and the creative mind, which is Netzach. Mind that all three spheres exist independently of the body and we can carry on with them when we discarnate. If you consider the 7 levels of the tree of life, Yesod makes up the lower mind and Hod and Netzach make up the higher mind. Hod and Netzach have a correspondence in the brain, the left and the right hemispheres. Naturally, we are not aware of Netzach and Hod. We become only aware of the activities in our minds. Desires and thoughts happen to us. Netzach is also the sphere of feelings. Feelings and emotions are different affairs. The corporeal intelligence produces emotions like anger, fear and infatuation, but feelings come from Netzach. Venus, the goddess of love, rules Netzach. Netzach, we cultivate love, beauty, purpose and happiness. As mentioned, Netzach also produces desires. Desires give form to feelings, motivations, wants and needs, usually in the form of images. This form-giving quality is the foundation of creativity. Hence, all artists, be they sculptors, writers, painters, inventors or entrepreneurs, excel in the use of Netzach. Netzach is also the sphere of philosophy, literally love of wisdom. Every philosophy is the elaboration of a desire. For example, the philosophy of humanism is based on compassion. Capitalism is the rationalization of greed. Fascism takes egotism to an absurd level. The title of the 29th path is the corporeal intelligence, but strictly speaking, the corporeal intelligence belongs to Malkuth. Why did it become the title of the 29th path? It indicates the influence of the corporeal intelligence on the sphere of desires. To understand this, I need to take a step back and explain the 3 basic types of desires. A. Desires that come from motivations. We are hungry and we desire a steak. B. Desires we copy from experiences. We see a car, emote, and we want it. We see fame, we emote, and then we want it. We see a potential mate, we emote, and then we want him or her. And C. Creative desires. The first 2 types of desires originate in the brain, in Malkuth. The 29th path conveys experiences, emotions and motivations to Netzach, and Netzach turns them into desires. Creative desires come from the above. For the sake of simplification, let's say they come from Tifereth through the 24th path, the path of the imaginative intelligence. Hence, they arrive as visual images. And Netzach turns those images into desires. The pursuit of enlightenment is such a creative idea that comes from above. If we turn this idea into a desire and cultivate it in Netzach, Netzach will, through the 24th path, use the corporeal intelligence to evolve our bodies. Let's have a closer look at motivations, desires, goals and needs and how they work within us. Motivations can be emotional and feely. The fear-flight response is an emotional motivation. Fear is the emotion and flight is the motivation. Motivations can also be feely. For example, to find someone to love. Desires give forms to motivations. Hunger prompts the motivation to find food, which turns into a desire to buy a pizza. Looking for someone to love is a motivation. Wanting a spouse or a child is a desire. Mind the difference between emotional and feely desires. Feely desires are more sophisticated and less selfish. Emotions want to eat, but feelings want to have a dinner with a loved one at an Italian restaurant. Emotions want sex, feelings want a honeymoon. Goals. Most of our desires come and go, and we have little control over them. Goals are desires that we pursue consciously and with intent. Goals are habitual and involve decision-making and planning. And we sacrifice for goals. To win a gold medal is a goal, or to become an accomplished singer, or to become the next president of the United States. Intent always comes from higher spheres. It's a gift bestowed upon us. Have a look at the following Venn diagram. The upper circle represents Kether to Tifereth and cosmic intention. The lower circle encompasses Netzach and hence personal desires. The intersection contains goals. Goals are desires formed from intention. They have a cosmic purpose and we pursue them consciously. In the intersection, destiny meets personal desires. Needs can be physical or mental, for example, the need to survive or the need to overcome a flaw. Wants and needs can conflict. For example, we may want a badass but abusive boyfriend, but we actually need a loyal and caring boyfriend. Needs are mostly subconscious. A need is always a need to overcome a flaw. Since flaws manifest in our lives as adversity, that's Tarot card 15, the devil, adversity brings needs to our conscious attention. In this context, the wolf symbolizes emotional and motivational desires, and the dog symbolizes creative desires. Emotional desires are wild, compulsive, and aggressive. They suggest a competitive lifestyle. The dog symbolizes creative desires that suggest a creative, humanitarian lifestyle. One could make the point that the progress of humanity is measured by how intentional desires turn into social structures and thereby restrain egoistic, competitive desires. Examples of such social accomplishments are equality, justice, and freedom. If we formulate healthy, humane, and constructive desires, the back of our head will convey those through the cerebrospinal nervous system and sympathetic nervous system to all cells. If we charge those desires with feelings, in particular love, the cells will respond in an accelerated manner. And this is what takes us beyond Homo sapiens. Thank you for watching this episode of Between the Pillars. Please help spreading the light with a like and a share. And don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.